Night vision. Brad hadn't slept more than a few hours at a stretch since he'd dropped his duffel in the entryway of his grandfather's house and started his period of reintegration. With the old man in rehab for a broken hip, Brad could sit in the plaid recliner for hours at a time, watching war coverage on TV, smoking cigarettes, and catching a few winks here and there. From the recliner, he could see the doorway to the guest room where he was meant to sleep, but so far the bed remained unused. One night, during his third week back in Madison, the sound of mortar fire blasted him awake. Brad found himself standing in the middle of the living room, searching frantically for his weapon, trying to figure out which direction the rounds had come from. The TV. They were showing airstrikes on TV. He shook his head to try to clear the pounding in his ears. "I gotta get out of here," he said aloud, his hands shaking. He fished in the bottom of the duffel and grabbed his night vision goggles. "Let's see what you have to show me." He turned off the light, flicked off the TV, secured the goggles to his head, and stepped outside. The street was quiet, the traffic light on Regent Street already blinking red. He found an old oak tree across from Jingles with a clear view of the door, everything rendered in green and black tones. Two laughing women and a wobbly man stumbled out, accompanied by a song Brad vaguely remembered. The three folded themselves into the front seat of the Cutlass and pulled out. He watched the car until it was out of sight. Starting to take off the goggles, he heard music again and stopped. Us and Them by Pink Floyd. And he saw a woman, alone. Instead of getting into a car, she turned onto the sidewalk. She was going to walk home alone past midnight? Didn't she know what could happen to a long-haired woman alone in the dark? He slowly descended the hill, taking care to keep a safe distance, and removed the goggles. He didn't want to scare the woman, just see her home safely. He kept a 3-block distance, hidden in the shadows. Turning onto Vilas Avenue, she tripped on the sidewalk, and he almost sprinted to catch her, but she righted herself and took off her tippy sandals. Drunk. She hooked the straps over her finger and continued walking. Without the shoes, she was sure-footed, like someone who had spent a lot of time barefoot. Her toes pointed outward. She leaned into each step like a dancer. Not drunk at all. She turned up the walk to a 2-flat, fiddled with her key, and let herself into the first-floor apartment. A wave of relief flashed through Brad. She was home. He walked across the street, sat on the curb in front of a parked car, and lit a cigarette. He watched her silhouette leave the front room, return, and douse the light. A car turned the corner, illuminating the street. He considered moving on, but the parked car next to him cast a shadow. No one knew he was there. He could stay a while longer. Crushing out the stub of his cigarette with his boot, he lit another and took a long, deep drag. He waited a half hour, put on his goggles, and gave her house one last sweep. No one hiding in the bushes, the door locked up tight. Or was it? He looked again. Her keys dangled from the lock. Although he figured no one would happen by and let himself into her house, Brad couldn't be sure. He headed across the street, planning to take the keys out of the lock, slip them onto an entryway table, and pull the door closed, locking himself and anyone else out. But when he opened the door, he realized there was no way to lock it without setting the deadbolt from inside. The latch made a deafening click. He froze, listening for a sign that she had heard him, that she was awake and coming to find him there in her entryway, afraid, exposed. Nothing. He turned the deadbolt and crept toward the back of the house, passing the open door of her bedroom. He hadn't meant to stop, knew he should keep going, get the hell out of there. But his gaze landed on her sleeping face, relaxed and untroubled. She lay on her side, facing the door, her cheeks slightly smooshed, making her lips ruffle. They looked like they wanted to give him a kiss. She could be in so much danger, he thought. If I wanted to, I could snap her neck before she could open her eyes. He looked at his hands and thought of all the destructive things they had been taught to do, all the things he could do to her. But she sleeps, he thought. She just sleeps. He watched the rise and fall of her chest beneath the covers, his breath falling into her rhythm. In, out, they breathed together. He closed his eyes. A bobber on a tranquil lake, he floated. No need to struggle. The calm nearly lulled him to sleep where he stood. Then his military training kicked in. Time to go.